Okay, good morning, everybody. Welcome to our Saturday morning call. It is Saturday, March 16th. This is our Tell the World Nation Zoom training call. If you are brand new and we've not met you yet, welcome. Can't wait to meet you at either our next meeting or GTC or Impact. But thank you so much for getting on. Can't wait to just fill your cup and also do some shout outs for those of you who are just rocking and rolling in your businesses. I'm going to start with some announcements. But we have a little bit of a switch this morning. So our trainer, Miss Kelly, actually is not feeling well. So she's not going to be able to join us this morning. If you think about her and her family, pray for them. They've all been quite sick. So if you would just keep that in mind, and we're going to have her here as soon as possible. And I know we're all super excited to hear from her. So be looking for that. But we still, nonetheless, have an amazing call for you this morning. So it is halfway through the month. We are March 16th today. So remember, we're going to go through a little bit more about sponsoring and following up and that kind of thing. So it's mid-month, so you want to be checking your numbers. And something to keep in mind is about halfway through the month, your numbers generally reflect about 1/3 of your final volume. So if you're looking at like, oh my gosh, I'm not halfway to my goal yet, don't worry. Usually that's a reflection of about 1/3 of the way to your goal. So we'll talk a little bit more about that today. But we do want to do some recognition. So Christy is actually going to share some recognition with us, and then we'll jump into announcements.
Yay, my favorite part. Good morning, everybody. Okay, so top sponsoring, we have some people that are duking it out right now. And Miss Jennifer Torres, you're the top of the whole team. Where are you, girl? I saw your face. So congratulations, Jennifer Torres. And then Kelsey Anderson, brand new. I think she's been a consultant for 2 weeks. She's number 2. Miss Sarah Raymond is number 3. Congratulations. And Miss Carla Beist, actually Carla Beist and Sarah are tied. So congratulations to you both. And also Jennifer Valesca. So all 3 of you guys are tied, Sarah, Carla, and Jennifer. So congratulations, top sponsoring so far. And then district managers, top districts right now is my own district, and then Ruthie's district, and then Sarah Raymond's district, and then Sarah and Jillian, you guys are like 5 QV away from each other. So it's going to be really interesting where this ends up falling. And Miss Jennifer Torres, congratulations. So excited for you. So you guys, we know every single week we share who's leading the top. Congratulations to everyone. I'm super, super excited to shout all of your names out. We have so much time left in the month, like Ruth was talking about. So she's going to talk about follow-up, and then I am going to touch on some awesomeness in just a minute. But
all right, thank you. Congratulations, everybody who is rocking and hitting the top of that leaderboard. Excited. I love hearing the new names too, and just that friendly competition, you guys. So for announcements, a little bit of housekeeping. So I know we had mentioned that there was going to be an outage on the website, and there was a little bit of a glitch. So we're going to have another outage on all the Arbonne platforms on March 19th. And so, I'm sorry, it'll be on March 18th because we're getting a new registration order set up. So March 19th after 2 a.m., hop on. There's going to be a new flow. It's going to be super simple, you guys. There's going to be awesome banners. So people can just go onto your website and they can start shopping away. And then when they're ready to check out, it will say like, if you want to be, do you want to sign up as a preferred client? This is what it looks like. This is how much you will save, right? If you want to be a consultant, this is what it'll look like. This is what you will save, which is what we've been looking for. So there's going to be those banners, free product, different things like that. So just keep that in mind on March 18th from 10 o'clock at night to 2 in the morning the next day. So it's in kind of the middle of the night for us. So that's fine. But just keep that in mind. If you're like, the website's not working, that's why. And there's actually a banner on your webpage. So yeah, we're super excited. So it's going to be a lot simpler of a flow. It's not going to be click, 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 6 steps, 6 pages. It will be 1 page, sign up, go. Okay. Shout out to everybody who's running for the March on March challenge. That incentive is going amazing. I love the accountability group. The Warriors are doing incredible, and I know so many people are going for that. So keep going. We're still up for that 30 in 30 days and then 15 new to earn the big kahuna of $1,000. So Our Monday Masteries happen every Monday. Don't forget that. Obviously, we have our 2,500 brick earner call with Jerry, champion breakfast, the in the bag incentive for the year 2019. Don't count out Punta Cana. This is coming up. We have until May to earn this trip, our Arbonne incentive trip. Do not count it out. You can absolutely earn this, so keep your eyes focused on that. And then as far as calendar goes, again, we have our experiences every single Tuesday night, and this Tuesday is going to be March 19th. We have a Discover Arbonne for those of you in Southern California in Carlsbad. So be sure that you RSVP for that. These are amazing events. This is a great time for third-party validation and just getting a great group of people together to share the Arbonne story, grab a drink, grab a snack. It's just a great environment, and these have been going amazing. So make sure that you get there with guests. GTC, more of those waitlist emails have gone out. So be sure that you are checking those, because you only have 72 hours once they're sent out to confirm that you want your spot. I know a couple people have gotten their spots. Liz got a spot. I don't remember if someone else did, but you guys check your email, because you want to get your buns in the chairs at GTC. Okay, so with that, like I said, this morning we're going to shift gears a little bit from the plan, but what's amazing is when that happens, as a leader, you don't freak out, right? You don't go, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? You say, okay, let's figure this out. What's the next step? So Christy and I got on the phone this morning and made a little game plan and got together. And so being prepared is such a hallmark of being a strong leader, and ready for the unexpected. So we didn't know that our trainer was going to be sick this morning, but you figure it out. And whether that's for a training, whether that's for something that happens in your personal business, if you're on a Discover Arbonne call or you're at a Discover Arbonne, you should be able to know how to fill in for that trainer, okay? And so that also happens, being prepared and ready for the unexpected and being flexible to roll with the changes. That goes for things like this, but it also goes for things like when you think somebody's going to jump in your business right away, right? And they don't. Or you have an event scheduled or a one-on-one and they cancel. We always say we don't cancel, we always reschedule. But when that happens, do we freak out or do we roll with it? And a leader will roll with it and say, okay, you override fear, you override doubt, and replace it with belief in truth, and you figure out a way. So creating opportunity and practice being creative. When this happens, think about, okay, what can we do instead? You know, if we couldn't meet in person, why don't we do a phone call, or why don't we do a Zoom connection, or I'll send them a video. Or, you know, if this happens a lot, going on cancellations or reschedules and stuff, if this is happening over and over and over, talk to your mentor. Maybe there's something that you're missing. So I want to throw that out there as well, and always respond with grace to yourself and to that person. So assume the best. Sometimes we can get caught in assuming the worst, and it's just this downward cycle. And you wouldn't want anybody to believe the worst of you, right? If something came up or you had a change in plans, you wouldn't want them to think the worst of you. So think the best, you know? And again, overriding fear and overriding doubt, replace that with belief in truth and change the script. Your mind will believe what you constantly tell it and consistently tell it. So when we're talking about following up, we're talking about making things happen, right? If you are where you want to be right now, awesome. Keep doing it and up your game. If you are not exactly where you want to be in the month right now and you're a little scared, that's okay. Up your game. Break down your numbers. Mid-month is a great time to reset and recheck where you're at. And this is a time that we really want to make sure that we are following up with a sense of urgency. So the opposite of sense of urgency would be we communicate a wishy-washy attitude. If you're not urgent, it's kind of like, well, you know, maybe try this and get back to me, or, oh, that's okay. Like, we don't have to get together this week, maybe another time, you know, or they say they're interested in the business and you're like, okay, great. Well, just let me know. Right. And a lot of times we think we're being sweet and gracious, but really it's creating a wishy-washy attitude. And it's conveying to people that it doesn't really matter that much. You can take your time. you know more than me on this, you figure out what's best for you. There'll be a better time later. And for the business, what's really unfortunate is when we don't communicate a sense of urgency, we basically say, well, maybe you can't do this. Figure it out, let me know, right? Or if it's the product or 30-day, maybe you don't really need this. It's really maybe not that awesome. Versus when you're sharing with urgency, you move and you convey belief. So when you're sharing like this 30-day will change your life. You will absolutely love it. These are the things going on. I know you communicated X, Y, and Z to me that are happening in your health. Let's just get you going. Find 3 friends or don't find 3 friends. Let's get you going no matter what. And let's get you set for health. When you're talking about the business, and they just told you the things that they're working towards. And then they're like, oh, I don't know where I'm at. I don't know if I could do this. And you're like, listen, I can train you. I will teach you what you need to know and what you need to do. That's exactly how I got started. That's what my mentor did for me. You just shared with me all these things. If nothing changes to that story, what are we going to do? If you don't put something else into play, how is that story going to change? Right? And so it's coming in with this belief for them. Oftentimes when we start our businesses, we are riding on the belief of our sponsor because we've never done this before. And our sponsor has. And so as the sponsor, that is our job, is to communicate that. And that's why we also utilize third-party validation. If there are times when we want to bring in our mentor or our upline, whether they're a manager or a VP or whatever, bring it in and convey that belief. It shows that it's important when we move with urgency. It shows that the time is now and they don't want to miss out. I love just Debbie Neal it, right? If you don't know who Debbie Neal is, find her on SoundCloud and you'll know exactly what I mean, right? She moves with urgency and there's no question in her mind, and there cannot be a question in our mind when we are moving and sharing this business. So who would you rather follow and who would you be excited to join? Somebody who's moving with urgency or someone who's just kind of laid back and it's okay, right? We want to be moving with someone who has a sense of urgency because we understand they know where they're going, and people want to follow somebody who knows where they're going. And again, when doubt comes into your mind, if it comes into your mind and disbelief comes into your mind, override it. Change the script, change the story. No, I know what I'm doing. I've been in this business for 2 weeks or 3 months or 4 years, whatever it is, right? It doesn't matter. Change the script and say, no, I am a VP. And you guys, I love, Aaron Farrell will always say this. VP stands for vision painter. That's it. Is the ability to share the vision. So someone could come in and they are a vision painter from day one, right? And that's where we're like, you are a VP. And so breathe that life into yourself, breathe that life into your team, and be a leader from day one. Leadership is truly an attitude. And if we're leading with belief and we're vision painters, do a little check. How is your vision painting? How well do you do that? And maybe you need practice. I'm sure you need practice. We all need practice. That's why we always say activity is king and activity will lead to belief, is because it's practice. But we also have to remember the way that we talk to ourselves is absolutely essential. And if your belief is on fire and amazing, keep running with it, keep fueling with it, keep fueling it and doing what you're doing. If it's not, talk to your mentor. Maybe there's some things that you need to work on. Maybe you need to grab a book. Maybe again, you just need to get an activity and fail forward. You guys, that is such a big part of this business, is just failing forward. So as you're doing your reach outs, as you're following up with people, have that sense of urgency. Hey, are you able to get on the phone tonight? Are you able to jump on the phone, meet up today, this afternoon, tomorrow, like as soon as possible. We don't want to put it out far out. With a 30-day, hey, are you ready to get going? I literally just messaged someone last night, hey, I'm going out of town tomorrow. I wanted to make sure I didn't miss you. Are you ready to get your kit? He messaged me this morning. Yep. So guess what? I'm going to get his credit card information. I'm going to put an order in on the way out of town. And that is what we do. And it's service to our clients. When we ho-hum and wait and wait and wait, it just falls off and they don't get the blessing of this business or the products or anything, So with these 2 weeks in the month of March, I'm Atlanta, Rock it and own it. Like Christy put in the comments, GTC is going to be amazing. We are looking at GTC. Where do you want to be? Where did you say you're going to be by GTC? We still have March and April. That's a 2-month qualification if you're not in quals. If you are in quals, finish. Get this done so you can be where you said you're going to be by GTC. With that, passing it over, Miss Christy Card.
Ow! Good morning, you guys. Okay, so remember how we said if you're a third away to your goal by the middle of the month, you're on your way to finishing your goal? Well, we are tracking actually a little higher to go nation for GTC. So I just wanted to tell you guys about that and what that would look like for us. Being our own and being connected to corporate and all the opportunities and things that you guys are going to get by us having a voice. So I'm super excited for that. But what that means, honestly, is you guys rocking it out for what you want to complete too. So just know that you do that for your team. Like, look at where they're at and like help them break it down, because 2 weeks is so much time. I remember we've said this over and over, but Ruthie was a week out from becoming an area in qual, and she had 3,000 in her central. And she was like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can do this. And in 1 week, I honestly say, like, almost not alone, but like she had a smaller team, did 7,000 QV in 1 week. And most of it came in the last 2 days. So never count time out. Never look at a month and go, I only have this. Go, I have this much left, So some things I definitely want to say. I know some secrets that are going to be coming out at GTC. So I'm going to share some vision with you guys today. I'm not going to tell you the secrets. I know you want to know them. But when people ask I'm picking back off what Ruth said. If someone says to you, oh my gosh, I love the product. I want to do the 30 days in like 3 months. Or wow, like this business sounds amazing. I want to do it in like, after I'm done with school. And they push it back. And that's when we have to, as the leader, create that sense of urgency and go, that's what I thought too. But I realized the sooner you get started, the sooner you can create a business. And obviously too, like Arbonne's blowing up. So the longer you wait, the more chance that someone else that you know is going to be joining another team. So I would love to get you going now, because I don't want you to miss out in terms of business. In terms of the product, girlfriend or dude or whoever or whatever, why are you pushing back your health till then? Why not do it now? Honestly, it's easier than making 3 whole meals a day. You could do it now. It'd be super simple, and then you'd already be ahead, so you wouldn't be worried about it in the future. Let's take care of it now, so you feel better now. So that's where she's talking about urgency. You have to be, when they give you the objection, and an objection is not a bad thing. It's usually a confusion, or I'm not clear, or I'm not sure. So if you can make it clear and sure for them, and with that urgency, then you're golden. You're going to get people to join your team and do the 30-day right now. Okay. So on to what I'm going to share with you guys. And like I said, I do know some secrets for GTC. I'm going to talk to you guys about baseball real fast. Okay. So in a baseball game, I want you guys to picture this. There is a field, right? And on the field, there's a diamond, there's the stands all the way around. It's loud. There's all kinds of things going on. People are eating peanuts and they're watching the game and they want to see what's going on. And I want you to envision yourself as the person who's going up to bat. You're going up to bat. You have the bat in your hand. And I want you to think about this analogy right now, you guys. So what you want to have coming into GTC is you want to have your bases loaded. So you want to make sure your team the bases are loaded, totally locked down. You want to make sure that in the dugout, there's people on your team in the dugout cheering you on, being like, you can do it, let's go, let's do it together. You want to make sure you have that all set up. GTC is going to throw the ball, okay? GTC is the pitcher. GTC is going to throw the ball with the brand new products and the madness that's about to go down. And you are going to hit the ball. And if you don't have the team ready to go, you're not going to go that far. You're going to go like to base 1. I don't know much about baseball, but you're going to base 1 for whatever it is. First base. There it is. First base. But if you have all of it set up and you have a team and you've been practicing and you've been okay, that you keep swinging the bat and you fail and it's okay. And you keep swinging the bat and you fail. You keep swinging the bat and you fail again. But then when GTC throws the ball and you've got yourself up and you've got a team behind you and they throw the ball and you go snap and it goes all the way out to the outfield and it goes home run, that's what needs to happen, you guys. If you have your team the base is loaded, you have your dugout full. When Gigi Surf throws the ball, you're going to hit a home run. And are you ready to hit a home run, or are you ready to go like a little bit? And what the difference is, you guys, it's literally going to be your team. And we've talked about this a million times. So if you're like rolling your eyes right now, I love you. I don't care. I'm going to tell it one more time because I want to put this in your mind really fast. There's going to be in the stands, there's going to be people chewing on peanuts, looking at you being like, oh, I don't think she's going to hit it. Oh, I don't think this person. And those are your haters, you guys, but they're not really hating. People who follow you and want to know what you're doing and are so concerned about you, they're confused supporters. They're not haters. They're supporting you because they're watching. So here's what you need to do. You need to hit the bat. And you need to show all the people who didn't believe, all the people who haven't joined you yet, all the people that are watching going, oh my gosh, like I wish I could be like that person. I wish I could be that brave. You need to hit that ball and hit that freaking home run so that they look at it and they go, oh yeah, like I'm joining that team right now because look at what they've done. Look at what they've pulled off. So baseball game, you're ready. You got your jerseys on. You're going to bat. So get it set up because you want to have a team behind you. Upline doesn't matter. Sidelines don't matter. What matters is what your team has and who's on your team. And are you guys ready to play? Okay. So I'm going to share a couple little quotes with you guys because I feel like any kind of success that you want to have in life, whether it's baseball, whether it's Arbonne, whether it's CEOs working for a company, whether it's starting your own startup, it's all the same. Success has this exact same principles no matter what you do. So here's some quotes I found really interesting about baseball. Never allow the fear of striking out to keep you from playing the game. Babe Ruth. How many times do we have the fear of striking out, of someone saying no, or someone thinking we're weird or something like that, so that we don't even play? Well, Babe Ruth thought the exact same thing. So he was like, I'm not going to let that worry me. I'm going to step up to the plate. And if I throw a bat and I miss, that's okay. Because he also said, the more strikeouts you have, that's the closer you are to your next home run. Okay, next one. If my uniform doesn't get dirty, I haven't done anything in the baseball game. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story yesterday. I took my daughter to ice skating. She really, really wanted to go. And she's not that great at ice skating. She's actually just learning how right now, which is fine. She has this app that I bought her on her iPad that's like an ice skating game where you can like pick the routines and you can put it together. And then you hit play and then the routine like goes and the girl like does all the ice skating tricks. Well, anyway, she thinks that because the game can do the ice skating tricks, she can learn how to ice skate and she's going to be really good and she's going to be just like that game right off the bat. How many of us look at other people, think that we've put the routine together, we've hit play, which is watching them on Instagram or social media, and we watch their routine happen and they go, ta-da, and we go, I can do that. But we don't put in the work. Do you know how much work goes behind that, you guys? So much work. Oh, Hillary's raising her hand. She's sitting next to me. Don't be like the game and expect it to be like that if you're not willing to practice. You have to practice. So here's what I want to share with you yesterday. So we go ice skating. It's on my Insta story if you want to check it out. Quinn was falling all over the place. All over the place. She was getting up, she was falling. She was getting up, she was falling. She was getting up and she was falling. I'm not great at ice skating, but I'm not bad either. So I'm mediocre. I'm average. Who wants to be average? No one. So I'm average. I'm skating enough to help her not fall. Okay. When we got done, we get in the car and she was like, Mommy, I fell so many times. And I was like, that's okay. And she goes, that's okay though, because I got back up. I said, that's right, babe. You keep falling, you keep getting back up. That's all that really matters. And she goes, you didn't fall though. And I was like, yeah, I didn't fall. And she's like, you're pretty good at ice skating. I was like, yeah, I'm okay at ice skating. I didn't fall. And she was like, do you think if you tried a little harder and you would have done some tricks, you would have actually fallen? OMG. I skated just enough to not fall. Oh, like stab me in the heart, right? I skated just enough to not fall. I didn't push myself. I didn't try. I was just doing it. I was going through the motions, literally. And my little girl, who's 6 years old, didn't mean to call me out, but she totally called me out because if I actually really tried, guess what I would have done? I would have fallen a couple times, probably a lot of times. If I would have really pushed myself, I would have skated too fast, most likely. I would have tried a trick and I wouldn't have completed it. I would have fallen, but at least I would have had the practice and at least I would have given it my all. Instead, my daughter watched me sort of try. sort of skate, kind of be average. So with that, you guys, I hope that you look at your baseball game and you go, you know what, screw this. I'm going to get to the bat and I'm going to start batting as many times as I possibly can. The more bats you do, the more hits you'll have. And I want to show you one more thing before we let go and answer questions for a second. I'm going to share my screen really fast. So I just shared this morning on our team page. You can see the image, hopefully. It says sponsoring numbers for promoting. So at Green Bay a couple years ago, we went and, Ruth and I are there, and I think Sarah and I think Hillary was there. I don't remember if it was this time. And I think Sarah Clark was there and whatever. And we're sitting there and, I've been like always going, we're going to go nation and you're going to go region and we're going to do all these things. And like, it's all about the numbers and the volume. And somebody sat down. I sat down. We all sat down. Somebody got up and shared this information with us, and it literally blew my mind. And although it's very rudimentary, it totally has changed the way I thought about my business and the way I grew my business. So what does this mean? So she said, and I think it was Catherine Lutz, got up and was talking about promoting. And she says, you need to take your eyes off the big number. The big number meaning the 10,000, the 40,000, the 160,000, because you look at that big number and you're like, oh, that's a lot. Like, how do I do that on my own? Like, oh my gosh. And she goes, if you move that from the big number, which is moving it from thinking about sales and scarcity mindset and, like, how can I do this, to looking at how many people are on your team and focusing on that number and making sure that number gets bigger. She said, for every 1,000 you have in your business, in your success line, you should have a new person to match. So if your success line says 5,000, you should have a minimum of 5 new. If your success line says 10,000, you should have a minimum of 10 new. Hopefully that made sense. But she also said, if you want to go area, help people. Make it about people. Bring new PCs in. Bring new consultants in. And if you consistently have the same number of new as the volume you need for 2 or 3 months straight, you will promote to that level of management. And I was like, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense. Then when you become that level of management, you sustain it. It's simple. You grow. It's so much fun. It's so much easier. And you're creating this amazing tribe. You're stepping up to the bat. You're swinging, you're swinging, you're missing, you're missing, you're missing, you're hitting. You hit a home run. You're swinging, you're swinging, you're swinging, you hit a home run. You end up having 10. You teach those people to focus on these numbers too. Then they do the same thing. And guess what? Your 10 in a couple months, because everybody's focusing on the same thing, turns into 40 new. You do that for a couple months, boom, you're a region. Those 40 new focus on that same thing for a couple months. And because of multiplication, and since we're duplicatable, boom, 160 happens, you guys. When you make it about people, how many times have you heard us say, we want to make it about people? But then we look at the big number of $40,000 and you're like, how will I ever be a region? Well, if you take regional vice president numbers and you divide them out, you guys, that's how it happens. It's about helping people. And when you help enough people get what they need, whether it's the products or whether it's a business, your life will change no matter what. There's actually nothing you can do about it. If you did not want to become a regional vice president or a national vice president, if you help enough people, it won't matter. It's going to happen anyways. So that's what I want to teach you guys, is to look at who can I help, who can I serve, and focus your time and energy on making sure your thousands match your new. Because if you do that and you love on people with urgency, you get to bat, you get ready to hit, you keep hitting, you skate harder, allow yourself to fall. Don't just skate through life. Push yourself so you actually can get better. You guys will all end up being exactly where you want to be. So with that, you guys, I hope you had an amazing training today. I'm super pumped. I want to open it up for a couple questions before we skedaddle. So if you have anything totally random, don't even care what it is, you guys, please ask.
Christy, can you hear me? It's Julie.
Yes.
Hey, sorry, my phone's being weird. I had a quick question about how Ruth was saying earlier in the training about, sense of urgency with people, and really not trying to get them, but just talking to them like, okay, let's do this. Like, do you have any advice for someone who maybe doesn't want to seem pushy though. You know what I mean? Like, because there's a difference between being like really enthusiastic and like excited about it and then like being pushy to someone. Like, how do you separate that fine line between those?
For
two
sure.
points?
You know, the first thing that comes to my mind is intention. So is your intention to get the sale? Or is your intention to get them on product and get them in your business because you know what it's going to do for them? So with that, I feel like already, like you're not going to feel pushy if your intention is in the right place. And people can absorb vibe. You know what I mean? So if your vibe is high and you're like, you need this business, like if I was going to like say, Hillary's here with me right now. And I'm like, okay, Hillary, you know, you said you needed this. You said you needed this. You always talk about how you don't like your job, girl. Like, seriously, you need to look at this business. We need to sit down together because I don't want to see you sad anymore, you know? And if she's like, oh, Christy, you're just saying blah, 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 whatever she says, I'd be like, okay, hear me out because this is important to me because I care about you. I want you to know what's going on. And I want you to hear the whole thing out before you say no to me. Hear the whole thing out. And if you hear the whole thing out and then you tell me no, you know what? That's okay. I totally understand. So it's an urgency with let's do this now with a little bit of, if you do this and you hear it out or you come to the meeting or whatever, and it's not for you, I get it. And then if they say no, after they hear it out, this is what I do. I'll say, totally understand. Timing is everything. Is it okay if I touch base with you in a couple of months because things change? And they're like, yeah, for sure. So I'm still creating that sense of urgency where what has been conveyed is that I think it's important. I think it's great for them, that Arbonne is amazing. Because what are you conveying? It's more about like, what are people feeling when you're like, okay, I totally understand. No worries. Maybe next time. How about next month? Okay. Yeah, 6 months from now is going to be so much better. Like, what is being conveying? It isn't even just the words. It's the belief that's being conveyed. So if you are believing and you're saying, girlfriend, like you need this. I don't care if you say no to me after you hear it out. I need you to hear it out. And then once you do, it's up to you. But I would feel horrible not sharing it with you. That belief, did you hear the belief difference? Because my intention is also different. With nutrition or skincare or products, if they're like, you know, I just really can't right now because X, Y, and Z. Like maybe that is the truth. So you say, you know what, I totally understand. Like this was really important to you. I don't want to drop the ball if it really is. You know, what are some of the reasons why you're holding back? And they're like, well, you know, I just had this money happen or this happen with finances. Because a lot of the times when people say no, it's either fear of finances. It's the 2 Fs, the horrible Fs. So if it's finances, you can say, I totally understand. You know, why don't we get some friends together so that you can get some discounted stuff? I'll get to share the Arbonne story, which is rad for me. We'll have a blast and we'll do that. And if they're like, no, then be like, okay, so, you know, I want to be the best service I can for you. So how can I best help you? Because I know this is really important to you. Do you want me to call you back next week? Because I don't know, you told me you got paid weekly. Do you want me to call you back in 2 weeks? So you're still creating that urgency, but you're not being like, no, you need to do it now. Like you said you wanted to, so give me your credit card. You know, so sense of urgency with belief doesn't seem like pushy, if that makes sense. If you're being like, you know, you said you were going to do this for me. You know, don't do any of that, you guys. Like when you're making it about other people, it's you're not going to be coming from that place. And honestly, like I always look back at my journey. I bought RE9 for 5 years and the girl would call me and text me and sometimes I wouldn't respond back to her. Not because I didn't like her, I was trying to ghost her or anything like that. I literally just had like crazy stuff happening and then I'd look at my phone and I'd forget and I'd go back to it and do something else. Or she'd call me and it was while I was at work. And so I couldn't answer. So I'd get off work and then I do something else. And then 3 weeks goes by and I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't call Carrie. You know, so just give people a lot of grace. Just because they're not on your time frame doesn't mean they don't like you. Doesn't mean they've become one of the peanut eaters in the stands of the baseball game. Okay. So does that answer your question a little bit, Julie?
Yes. Thank you. That answers
You're
a lot.
welcome. Good. Okay. Do we have one more question and then we're going to close it out? While someone's unmuting, can you just raise your hand if you have some peanut eaters in your stands? Heck yeah. That's right. Peanuts are allergenic. They don't even know that. They should be eating almonds. Weirdos.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't have a
Yes.
question, but it's funny because you were talking about Arbonne, and then I started thinking of baseball before you even talked about baseball. But it's the reason why, and we hear this all the time, and if it makes sense to you, I don't know if anybody plays baseball or not, but or softball, doesn't matter. How many times are these people who are moving and really making massive teams grow is because they're, like she says, they're getting in front of more people. It's just like batting. It's like the more swings you take, you might miss the ball 200 times. And until you actually hit that one connection, then you feel the connection and it's like, oh man, that felt great. And I want to keep doing that so that you've learned something new on how to position your body and how to make the connection. It's just like with Arbonne. It's like, how do I have the same belief as Christy when I'm sharing this information about my passion and I want people to join in my business? Well, it's like you have to get in front of more people and keep sharing until you find that belief connection finally aligns up. Like you finally made the hit. And then you go for it and you have that same intention going forward. Batters in baseball that are getting paid millions of dollars, their average percentage is basically a 2%. You know, they're getting 2 out of 10 hits to get on base and they're making millions of dollars. It's same with our business. You know, I was telling Christy yesterday, I'm like, right now, I look at numbers as a third at this moment, because if you want people to show up or you want people to move and groove in your business or join your team, think about it in thirds, that only about 33% of them are actually going to do something about it. So that's why the correlation is so similar. But I just wanted to share that little piece. I hope it resonates with anybody out there. And so that way we can get going and enjoy it. I'm sorry, it's not 2%, it's 20%, because if it's 10 bats, they hit twice. So yeah, different numbers, correlations, but they do it in hundreds. So anyway.
You know what though? That's still fine. That's 1/5. That's 1/5. And Natasha, that's amazing. That is such a great point. And Hillary sitting next to me, she goes, you can't have a batting average if you never step up to bat. Yow! So here's the thing, you guys, like, and how cool that we get to create our team. Legit, if you're thinking about a baseball team and you play fantasy football or you play fantasy whatever, think about how you can pick the strengths from all these different people and you can put it together. You get to do the exact same thing in real life, and you get to have so much fun, travel with the people that you love on them like crazy. And our product is health and wellness and vegan and gluten-free and non-GMO. Our product is like the best product there is on earth. So how lucky are we that we all are connected to that product? But you guys, I want you to think about the numbers of the people you're sharing with and the people you are having on your team, because the big, huge chunk of number will happen. Perfect example, Meg and Arica. This is the last thing and then we'll close out. Meg, when I was an executive regional vice president, she went region and she wasn't like a super stable region, to be honest. And then she like all of a sudden started thinking about the sponsoring game and like building her team instead of the big number. She kind of pushed that over to the side and was like, whatever. And then she ended up recently, you guys saw in the beginning of the year, she went nation, she promoted a nation, and she's already creeping up to halfway to $1 million. So when she switched from the big number to how many people can I help and helping build that team and being like, all right, let's go up to bat. Let's go up to bat. Let's go up to bat. Let's do this together and creating more of that community vibe. It explodes. And how much more fun is it going to be when that's the case, you guys? Like there's been so many times in my business where I was having a freaking blast because I was making it about other people. So I want you guys to switch gears and think about other people and think about how you can bless and touch so many. So with that, you guys, mwah, kick up that batting average, get in front of 40 faces a month. If you want to go faster, 80 faces a month. If you want to go real faster, 120 faces a month. That is how you will get the people on your team, is by sharing the full Arbonne story through one-on-ones, drop kits, events. If you're reaching out on social media, fantastic, but those people have to move into a conversation with you to actually count as one of your 40 faces. So, all right, you guys, mwah, so excited. Your talent has nothing to do with this game. It is all about persistence, consistency, and desire. All right, you guys, have an amazing Saturday. Bye.